Hey guys, it's Brandon Miniman from PocketNow.com. I've been using the iPhone 4S for about 8 days now, and I have some test notes to share. Let's get to it. So in this video, we're going to cover 5 different areas, some of which are specific to the iPhone 4S, some of which are specific to iOS 5 in general. Let's actually start off by talking about the bumper. The bumper has been redesigned sometime in the last few months. It's been redesigned with lower quality materials, unfortunately. The bumper is a great case for people that want a minimalist cover, protection, something that looks good and maintains the curves and the thinness of the iPhone 4, but that provides a good level of protection if you drop it on a corner or if you rest it on a table and there's something there that could scratch the screen. However, this downgrade of materials is very unfortunate. The first generation bumper had rubbery edges along the side. Now it's kind of like a low density rubber, almost plastic, and you can see what's happening after just 8 days. There's a little nick in the corner here. Down near the charging port, there's a nick. The gray stuff is getting dirty, and I'm pretty careful with the phone, so it's very unfortunate that the iPhone bumper has gone down in quality. They really need to reduce the price. $29.99 for a case like this is insane. Of course, Apple likes to charge more for everything, the Apple tax. But come on, guys, lower it to 15 bucks. Make it at least competitive with all of the other case offerings out there. You can get a much higher quality iPhone 4S case that isn't going to degrade on you after 8 days. So, thumbs down for the bumper there. Let's talk a little bit about Siri. We did a whole video on Siri, and I'll put a link up here so you can jump back and see that. Is Siri useful? Well, let's ask it. Are you useful?
No comment.
Fantastic. No comment. So again, we did a whole video about Siri, about what it can do today and what it can do and hopefully will be able to do tomorrow, meaning in the future, where Siri is evolving. Again, you want to check out that video. We'll put the link back up at the end of the video in case you want to watch this video through and through. Now, another big change with the iPhone 4 is the camera. We got a bump from 5 megapixels to 8 megapixels, from 720p video capture to 1080p video capture. There's a lot of fancy stuff that's going on in terms of how they actually achieved improved optics, including lens and aperture and all of that fancy stuff. But most people just want to take a really good picture with their smartphone. And the iPhone 4S takes incredible pictures. In fact, this is the best camera phone available right now. Previously, the Galaxy S2 was really good in terms of taking macro shots and 1080p video, but the iPhone 4S just takes it up a notch in every respect. Let me give you a couple of examples in terms of the photo quality. So I was recently at a golf course. I was taking some pictures of the golf course, of some trees, of some things on the ground, and take a look at this. I found a small mushroom on the ground, very small, and I wanted to see how the iPhone 4S did with macro shots, those really close-up shots that would cause most smartphones, or point-and-shoot cameras for that matter, to go out of focus. Look at the picture I captured. If we zoom in, we can see tremendous detail from this mushroom. It's actually kind of gross how wrinkly this mushroom is. Very tiny artifact on the ground, about that high, and yet look how clear and crisp this photo came out. It's really fantastic. Let's go back to a couple of other photos here. We've got a golf course photo. Everything is just exposed very well. The color looks fantastic. The Retina display makes everything really pop, and you can really see the detail. So the sky is blue, the contrast with the trees looks great, the grass is a reasonable color green. You can see some of the yellow in the changing leaves. Very accurate color. And I tried the same thing with a flower here. So here's another example of a macro. A flower probably about that size, not massive, but it just focuses very well on the flower to the point where you can see detail in each and every petal. So the iPhone 4S gets very high marks for video capture and for photo quality. If you want the camera with, if you want the smartphone with the best camera, the iPhone 4S is definitely the one to get. And also, the combination of the PhotoStream makes it awesome. I've got PhotoStream set up on my PC. I've got PhotoStream set up on my home computer so that when I take a picture, all of my photos are uploaded to the cloud and then down to all of my devices, which saves a step that has plagued humanity, which is plugging in your phone and transferring the pictures or emailing pictures to yourself or whatever you do, this really solves the problem. Of course, there are other technologies out there that you can get on Android, for example, that will do the same thing, but it's all integrated out of the box here on the iPhone 4S, which is very much appreciated. Next thing we want to talk about is the notification system, which in my opinion is kind of bad. Let's go into the notification system. I was actually impressed with how many options you get. So we can sort applications here in this list. This is the new notification list by time, or you can do it manually because you're going to get a lot of notifications building up. Almost every app these days has a notification system. Game Center, New York Times, I mean just every app has some way it wants to notify you when things happen. And you have so much control now in iOS 5 over which notifications happen, where they happen, and how they happen. And it's actually a little bit of a learning curve. So if we go into any of these, let's say this chess application, there are 3 different things you can choose for the notifications to do. 1, you can have it turn on and go into the notification center. I've actually got that turned off, and I'll tell you why in a sec. Number 2, you can set the notification alert type. You can have the pop-up alert, which is what we've been used to for a while now in iOS 5, the one that pops up in the center and interrupts you from what you're doing. They're very annoying. You can have this new kind of banner notification, which is actually pretty horrible, and I'll demonstrate it in a sec, or you can turn off alerts altogether. And number 3, the third thing that you can control here is you can turn on the notifications for this particular program in your lock screen. And of course, in the lock screen, you'll get the new slider, so you can jump right into the program that's trying to notify you of something that is happening. So I've got the notification center turned off, because I just don't find it as useful as, say, Android, especially Android 4.0, where you can selectively remove certain notifications. In iOS 5, you've got to either have a big stack of mail notifications, for example, or you can clear out all your mail notifications and have 0. It's either it's an all or nothing kind of thing, and I really don't like that. Let me demonstrate why I hate the banner notifications. So for email right now, I've got banner set up. So when I get a new email, you'll see something roll in from the top. There's a big problem with it. So I'm going to send myself an email, then jump into another app. Give me a sec, and we'll show it off. So watch what's going to happen here. I am in iMessage, or the message notification. See how the notification rolls down and covers up these UI buttons. And it really sucks because you can't swipe off the notification. You have to wait a full 3 seconds, which is a very long time if you're trying to send an email, and iOS buttons are always up here to be able to go back and forth. For example, imagine being in this group message and a banner occurs and it covers up this back button. Well, you have to wait the full 1, 2, 3 seconds before it goes away. Or you can't press the message button unless you try very, very hard to get the bottom half of the button that is exposed. And sometimes you miss, you hit the notification and you go into the email or whatever was notifying you. Apple could fix this so easily if you could swipe notifications off the screen. Windows Phone 7 does it awesomely, and hopefully iOS 5 in the next update will fix this, because it's a big problem. Next up, let's talk about the web, because with a faster CPU, we're hoping that checkerboards are a thing of the past. If you had an iPhone 4, over time it got slower. Not only that, but it didn't have that much processing power to start with, so you would get checkerboards. Let's see if that has been fixed in iOS 5 and on the iPhone 4S thanks to the dual-core A5. So here we are on Engadget. We get blank space for a second, but then everything fills in very quickly. And let me show you that again. Let's go to a different part of Engadget in case we're being cached here. So we get a blank screen, and then everything gets filled in very quickly. No checkerboards to be found. Checkerboards are a thing of the past with iOS 5 and in the iPhone 4S, which is very, very fortunate because it can really slow you down when you're browsing. And pinch to zoom is, as you would expect it, extremely smooth, buttery smooth. Bouncing around on the web is a great experience, as you would expect on an iOS device, coupled with the dual-core processor, and things are extra smooth. Now, hopefully, sometime soon they're going to update this silly tabbed interface for iOS in the phone application, because we want to have tabs like a computer, not this button and then you got to flick and there's no way to close all the tabs. So if you have 8 resource-intensive websites open, you have to go through and tab it and tap it. The tab system really needs an overhaul in iOS 5. add that to the pop-down notifications for the 5.1 update, which is hopefully coming in the near future. But in all seriousness, the web browser is extremely fast on the iPhone 4S. And finally, let's talk about iMessage. Those of you that have been using a BlackBerry for a while have been using BBM, BlackBerry Messenger, which is basically the same thing. You can do group SMS, you can send pictures, and you can also send video over a data connection. It's all free, so you're not charged 5 cents or whatever AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile want to charge you. And it is awesome, for example, for making plans. So I've got some friends, I'm having a conversation. It's me and 3 friends at the same time. We're having a conversation. So no more texting one person and texting the other. It's like a chat room in your pocket, and it's super awesome. And you can add photos, you can add video. Not only that, there's a typing indicator, so you can see when someone else is typing so you don't interrupt them. And again, it's free. And iMessages keenly turn up blue, whereas typical SMS turn up green, which is nice because you can instantly see whether the person receiving the message has iOS 5, if the message will be free, or if they're just on a standard text messaging plan. Really cool with the color coding there. So iMessage, big thumbs up for that. It works on the iPad, it works on all iOS 5 devices. It's really super cool. Now they just need a PC client so you can follow along the conversation when you're on your PC. So most of the gripes that I've had about the iPhone 4S in the last 8 days are software related, things that can be fixed in a software update. Of course, we'll see iOS continue to evolve. What is still unfortunate is that the iPhone 4S is still an iPhone 4. There's nothing different about the hardware. The screen's not bigger, it's not anything significantly different. It's not tremendously faster. It's a very incremental upgrade, which is a good thing. The iPhone 4 was a great phone, but you look at a phone like the Droid Razr and the Galaxy Nexus and you think, wow, bigger screens, thinner form factors, higher resolution screens, Super AMOLED displays, multiple cores, and you gotta think, how long will the iPhone 4S stay relevant in 2012 when we're gonna see Tegra 3 quad-core phones, 720p screens? It's gonna be pretty epic, and hopefully hopefully the iPhone 5 isn't too far off. It's obviously going to be a pretty dramatic departure from the iPhone 4 because Apple's not going to stick with the same design for 2 generations. We've got the full review coming up on PocketNow.com soon. Check back for that. We'll put a link down in the description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. That's it for now.